Welcome to Muddy River News This Week. My name is David Adam. I'm the editor here at Muddy River News. And joining me after a leisurely summer next to the pool, just relaxing and getting in plenty of rest for the upcoming school year, is Quincy School Superintendent Todd Pettit. I accurately described the last 3 months of your life, didn't I?
There may need to be some edits with that.
Some edits.
I think the pool was like twice, but that's okay. That's okay.
Only twice?
Maybe 3 times.
All I know is, and you know who I'm talking about out there, whatever camera I'm looking at, there are some of you that spent more than a couple of days at the pool. Ellengoff. I actually had a chance to speak to you a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things that we talked about was, the misconception that summertime hits and Todd Pettit gets to, well, you can't let your hair down, but neither can I. But the fact is, you get to relax a little bit. Mm-hmm. What happens during the summer that you don't typically get to work on during the school year?
Well, the summer, I found this year different than last year, because I took this seat July 1st last year. June is really wrapping up the year, focusing on what our team needs, our teachers and our support staff to wrap up the year, but also focusing on the next school year to come. Right. So June and July were very, very busy months. I preach to my staff that, take your time, and to our teachers who, that's the idea that teachers have the summer off, which really isn't the case. Right. And Bob Goff would say the same thing. That his wife is always thinking about, planning for the next year.
Wait a second. I've heard plenty of phone calls, and I can hear the water lapping in the background from her sitting poolside.
But I guarantee you that she may be poolside, but she's got a book in her hand. She's doing something.
You're being very kind.
Well, truthful. But yes. So summer work is very busy. Yeah. And there was a lot of downtime this summer, but that's okay. I'm glad that we're today, and that we're 3 days in, and we're back into the rhythm of school, because everybody needs that. We all need that.
Well, the fact that this is the time of the year. I mean, in fact, I saw you see the memes of the parents who are, as soon as the kids jump on the bus and head out the door, and I was like, woohoo! I finally can relax. But the fact is that there are a lot of kids who are very excited to go back to school. Their schedule kind of gets out of routine as well. Last year was a totally different school routine for you. After how many years in the music department?
3 years in the music department.
But career-wise?
23 years in education.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden you're in charge. You're the CEO. You're the guy running this. Were there things that you had to deal with last year that you went, no one ever told me I was going to have to do this?
It's interesting you make that statement in that way, because superintendent friends, folks that I went to grad school with, would say, Todd, your life's going to change. We can't even tell you how. And I quickly found out how. One of those things is just the magnitude of information and things coming at you at once. And you think I was a building principal, a school building principal, right, of 450 kids and 60 plus staff, and then the director of music for the music department, K through 12. So you think you're ready, but you're not really. I was not ready for that. So it's really juggling that. And for a type A personality who wants to have a to-do list and check the boxes, sometimes it's stressful.
Was there a day, do you remember a day or a particular event where you went, oh, wow, they didn't teach me that in my classes, learning how to, get my superintendent's license. Do you remember any particular time last year that you kind of went, whoo?
What I remember was the day, it was March, April, when we had that crazy weather. The threatening winds, and we had to call off school early. And we have plans for all of those things. Right. But you have to put that plan into place. The great thing is I have a phenomenal central office team that, just rallies around and working with the county superintendents and collaborating. We got that done. But that was about 2 hours of just really digging in and those firsts, right?
Sure.
Because I didn't have to call a snow day last year, so sadly,
Wait till you have fun with that.
I know.
I mean, I can still remember your predecessor, Roy Webb, which one of the things I really liked about Roy was he was very open on social media
Yep.
explaining why a snow day is being called, and if you don't like it, it's on me.
Yep.
You haven't had that fun yet.
Haven't had that fun yet. There was a day we were close. We have a process for that too. And I was up at 3:30 and working with all of our team and, making those decisions, but couldn't make the call. So I went live on Facebook, to our, QPS
Which is
family
the way to go.
and said, hey, sorry kids, but get up, get at them because we're going to school. So I wasn't very popular that day.
So we've talked a little
kids.
bit about your first year on the job. We are going to talk about the students and their first days back at school. But I want to talk about first year teachers. How many first year teachers do you have in the district this year?
So this year we have about 47 first year teachers, and that would include first year teachers to the profession, but also some of those folks are first year in QPS.
Okay.
They may have experience, but so they are new to us, and they're under a mentorship program.
That was what I was going to ask about, is how do you, much like you have things in place to help the students as they reacclimate themselves to the school day, what kind of plans do you have in place and you mentioned a mentorship program for those first year teachers. Explain how you help first year teachers in the Quincy School District.
So we have a very comprehensive mentorship program that's been in place for several years. Marilyn Smith is our coordinator of teacher mentoring and does a very fine job of preparing the teachers as they come in, like last week and when she met with them, and we call it new teacher induction. So what is it like to be a teacher in QPS, and what do we expect, and how do we support you? So it's really about supporting those teachers from day one, and to ensure that they have connections, not only with Marilyn, but with a mentor. Like we pair them with other veteran, seasoned teachers, as I like to call them.
Sure, seasoned is so much more politically correct,
isn't it? So that they're, that they have that person that they can go to. And then the other beautiful thing about education is, if I'm a third grade teacher and I'm new, not only do I have my mentor teacher, but I also have my third grade team of teachers. And that's it could be a grade level, it could be a subject area at the secondary level, but that support. And I think, in a district our size, in a large district, that really sets us apart to really be able to offer that one-to-one and those relationships, because so often in large districts that gets lost because they're large. So I think we do a very fine job at, supporting those teachers. And in this climate of hiring, finding teachers that, want to come to Quincy, and just teaching teachers in general. Finding teachers used to be you'd have 30 teachers for one, applicants for one position. Now we may have 5. So I think just that recruitment, but also retention.
What is the retention? Your retention rate. How of those 47 new teachers that you have in the district, how many of them typically will stay a year, 5 years, 10 years?
Of course, we want them to make their career here.
Sure.
Our focus really is about how do we not only just capture them, but retain them to be able to make their career here. I would say the information that comes across my desk from our HR department and talking with our HR director, Lisa Otten, is that we have those teachers who, we do exit interviews with that may leave us, but it's not because they're disgruntled. They, typically they're moving because a spouse, a significant other has a job opportunity. Right. They may have another job opportunity in a larger, metropolitan area as well.
Right.
But, I think our retention rate is fairly good. And that's because of setting those supports in place from day one.
One of the things that I've read about recently that's happening in your preparation for this upcoming school year is your work with the discipline committee. Is that a new committee?
No, it's not a new committee. The discipline committee was umbrellaed under the parent involvement committee, and
I didn't remember it
together.
I didn't really remember it standing on its own like it kind of does now.
So it was the district improvement committee, which is parent involvement and was discipline.
Okay.
So we just determined, meaning myself and the board, one of the board's directives to me when I was hired was we really want to make sure that we have a focus on discipline, that our classrooms are free of disruptions, because we want to make sure that our teachers can teach and our kids can learn.
So what have you done? I understand that there's been some changes made to the student handbook, and the fact is, to me, one of the things that I guess I've always been curious about with discipline is, how do you maintain discipline and be fair across the board at the elementary schools, at the junior high school, and at the high school?
So, our policy has not changed. Policy is set, through our Board of Education, but we also follow our, Illinois State Board of Education,
Right.
Mandates and our legislature mandates. So that's number one. That hasn't changed. In terms of refocusing, it really is about refocusing for us. What are those levels of infraction, if you will? How do we support our teachers to ensure that they have the tools in their toolbox to address the needs of our students who, have behavior challenges
Right.
within the classroom? And then, to be able to ensure that we are consistent across the board. Again, looking at grade level, I mean, each case is somewhat individual.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Objective. And you would have that, but still ensuring that we have due process, but that we're also being as consistent as we can be.
Right. And consistency, I'm guessing, that's not easy to do when you're different people, different administrators, different times. It's consistency. That's why I remember the old football coach of the Oakland Raiders used to say, I have one rule: just show up on time. Other than that, I don't care what you do, because I don't want to have to deal with it if you do break the rules. So I have no rules. That probably doesn't work very well in the school district.
Right. And truly, that consistency, from my seat, really comes when we're looking at, being, you talk about equity, being fair as it always equal. It depends on what that equity looks like. But we're following policy, and we're ensuring that, really the focus is those students who are causing disruptions continuously, that, we're staying, abreast of that our teachers are supported by our administrators, our student support family liaisons at our schools, our social emotional school managers, that there is that support team. So that, again, it's consistency within how we're implementing at each school.
In my preparation for our visit today, I found a story that was written by the State Journal Register in Springfield, and they just interviewed a few teachers about the beginning of the school year. And they came up with what they thought were 7 tips to help parents get ready for the school year. I don't think you're going to disagree with any of them. I just want to get your reaction to some of them, and maybe even talk about how specifically that might be done in your school district. And one of them was, make use of school support teams. Explain to the viewers what types of different school support teams you have at each of the schools in the district.
So, at our elementary level, I just talked about our student support family liaisons. They're often referred to as SSFLs. We are educators, so it's all about the acronyms, right? And parents
SSFL.
Say that fast.
Yeah, exactly.
3 times. But people, they're like, what's that? But our student support family liaison is that person who is connecting with the teacher and the student. If there are those, challenges in the classroom, it's that person that, we expect our teachers to have a connection with our parents and our families, but also that becomes that bridge as well. So it's that support. Our social emotional school managers, that's another layer at the school that our elementary school principals have, that they're able to utilize that person for those social emotional needs. And when you look at secondary, you have deans and counselors, and those terms that most all of us would recognize.
Do you still have the STAR guides?
STAR guides, we do not have STAR guides.
What are they?
And that's like the SSFL.
Is that the new phrase for an SSFL?
I believe, yes. So that STAR guide was before I returned.
Gotcha.
So yeah, my memory serves me correctly. What I've been told.
Right.
So again, it's using all of those supports to support our students.
Okay. Another example of things that these teachers thought were important at the beginning of the start of school year: update your health records. And as a parent, my kids were generally pretty healthy. I never really thought to worry about that. I can imagine, for you hearing that, you're like, yeah, hurry, please help update your, please do. Why is that important?
And that's important because, by law, we have to ensure that our health records are up to date of all of our students. Otherwise, You know, at some point, I think it's in October, we'll have to exclude kids. So we never want to do that. So Brandy Kirby, who's our director of nursing, she and her staff work very diligently to ensure the support for parents if they, you know, if they need assistance with ensuring that those student health records are up to date.
Okay. One that I would have never guessed, but when I thought about it, I went, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And that was buy comfortable shoes. I can imagine that for a kid who's not wearing comfortable shoes, your focus isn't on what's happening in the classroom because you're worried about your feet hurting.
You know, I connect with Monday. Monday we invited our teachers back, and I wore my Blue Devil Vans, my shoes, right, that are adorned with Blue Devil, you know, insignia, my graduation year, all that stuff. Because we had Tuesday, the man in the black chucks, he was our keynote speaker. So on Monday, I told them that today they get the man in the blue and white Vans, right? But I did say I can't wear them too long because they're not very comfortable. And you know, mid-morning, I'm like, oh man, my feet hurt, and it's no wonder because I've got those shoes on that aren't very comfortable. So you're exactly right. All those things that can be distractions to what we need to focus on in the classroom. This one that they came up with, I thought was interesting, I'm guessing that you will expand on it and open the idea, which was explore options with sports. My guess is that you would say that for other extracurricular activities as well. What is the importance? How do you see kids getting involved with extracurricular activities benefiting them? Well, I think just being able to offer a well-rounded education today is so much more than what the academics of the classroom, and we put focus on that. But kids need to have socialization, you know, with their peers, and so it might be athletics, it might be music, it might be being involved with a club, and we have clubs from our elementary to high school. Student council, you know, those types of things, yearbook, you know, at the junior high and the high school, they have that. So I think all of those things are really important for engagement, because I see so much of engagement for our kids today is this and not this.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's really fostering this, which I think is so important in our society today.
All right, you went to this. Here I am looking at mine for all my answers.
It's for your notes.
But it's for my notes, all right? But one of the things that they suggested was limit technology before bedtime. Now, I'm the type of person that when I go home, I climb into bed, lights are off, television's on, and in 5 minutes, I'm out. However, I'm guessing that isn't necessarily the same for a kid in his bedroom sitting there texting his buddies until midnight.
Right.
How much of that obviously you necessarily don't see it, but how much of it do you hear about that potentially affecting kids as they get ready for school the next day?
Well, I will tell you, kind of case in point this year, we've been in school for today's day 3. At the junior high school this year, they've implemented a new policy. It's no cell phone policy out while you're at the building, while you're in school. So in the morning, it has to be stowed away in their book bag in their locker. You know, it's safe, it's locked up. And then they can retrieve that at the final bell. They can have it out as they're, you know, getting stuff out of their locker, and you will see a lot of that, you know, at the end of the day. But what has been reported just in the first 3 days from students, from parents, and from teachers is that kids are more engaged. And
that's so good to hear.
It is so good to hear. And so I think that plays into your point, because so much of, especially at the junior high level and that age is of you know, pre-adolescence, that it's a challenging time in all of our lives that we've all been to, right? So those kinds of interactions on your device just create a lot of distractions in the school environment. So I'm anxious to see as we continue, if I'm getting the same reports from Mrs. Fleer, our principal at the junior high, and our teachers, hopefully that that's taken away one of those distractions from the school.
I have a brother who was in education. I have a sister-in-law who still is in education. I have an ex-wife who was in education. And the one thing that I think would be fascinating to find out is how many people are contacting, not necessarily you, but your building principal, and saying, I have got to be able to get a hold of Junior and have 24/7 access to my child. How much of a fight is that?
And I know parents have said that.
I still want to know. I'm going to guess 98% of their reasons I would not necessarily agree with.
Correct. And I haven't had any reports that we've had that yet, that complaint. I will say that, like we tell all parents, at that point, you call the school. We have your access. Your students are safe, and it's a non-issue. I mean, it really is, because the benefit of them not having those connections, those outside distractions, is going to benefit their ability to learn and how they achieve, which is why we're there.
Exactly.
Our mission at QPS is that all students and teachers achieve their personal excellence. And, so we're just trying to remove those barriers, but not take away what is so much part of our society.
Absolutely. But you can't ignore it.
No, and there are times I get on my phone at night and think, I just wasted 45 minutes of my life that I will never get back, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm not in junior high anymore, so.
Now, but it's only at the junior high right now. Is that not in place at the high school?
So cell phones cannot be out in the classroom, but students can carry them with them at that point.
Gotcha. All right, next one. Find the school's grading platform. That one kind of went over my head. Why would it be important for me to know what the school's grading platform is?
Well, I think, just as a parent, you're checking in on your student in their Skyward portal, which is our electronic system.
I never had to deal with the Skyward portal, so that's all news to me.
So I think just understanding, what the school grading scales are.
You mean I don't have to wait for 4 different times of the year for a report card to come home to know how my child's doing? I can check anytime, any way I went, and I just, a couple of clicks on my keyboard and I'm there.
Right. And teachers
it's been a long time since I had children that had to worry about that.
Yeah. Teachers will tell parents, these are the days that I grade, so you could expect these grades at this time. But yeah, it's available at their fingertips. But that's not negating those parent-teacher conferences, because that connection is so important. And that's one thing that I challenged our teachers this year again, was that you build those relationships with parents, because for our parents, we need those relationships. We need that support. We need them to make sure that they are expecting of their children in the classroom what our teachers are expecting. We just talked about discipline and supporting that, because it takes a village.
Well, and you just hit number 7, which was build relationships with teachers. And by the way, I have to admit, my oldest child, first parent-teacher conference I had, I was ready to go. I was going to be there, and then I completely forgot about it. And so did my wife. We both totally forgot our child's first parent-teacher conference. It was very humiliating as a parent to admit that happened, because it is important to be able to understand how they're supporting us and how we support them.
Right. Absolutely right.
Hey, I feel like I'm a little bit more ready for school now.
Well, good.
I hope you're ready for school.
I am ready. I've got my comfortable shoes on.
You've got your Blue Devil blue suit. You've got your Blue Devil blue tie. You have your Blue Devil blue lapel pin.
It is Blue Devil Friday.
Oh, it is?
We are continuing that. So on Fridays, we wear blue, and it's not just our students and our staff and our teachers. We invite the whole community to show up and wear Blue Devil blue.
I got a little blue on
blue?
today. Yeah, I'm all right. I think I still work.
Yeah.
I'm a 1983 graduate. I just had my 40th year high school reunion this weekend.
So you're good.
I think I'm still following along. I'll be at the football game next Friday night, so that's good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
David.
for the time. Appreciate you talking about the beginning of the school year. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And appreciate you joining us this week as well. You can catch this interview and other Muddy River News This Week interviews on the Muddy River Plus TV tab on our website.